Normally, I go through the forest industry here in British Columbia. There are several forest industries that are logging in our traditional lands, and they have an Aboriginal division that specifically caters to our needs. So I'll give them a call and say I'm looking for a 40-foot log. It needs to be a K grade or D grade, which means the highest quality log. And then they'll send the word out to the guys who are doing all the cutting to keep your eye out for this log. And if you see one like this that fits it, mark it and put it aside. And then they put it aside for us, and we get to go look at it and pick and choose. So that's how I access my logs, and then work on shipping and getting it here. So it can take quite a while. Like this log sat for a year. We started looking 2 years ago, and it finally came to us about a year ago. And then, that's sort of the process, is how we go about it. This pole will be put up on Guilford Island, where my grandmother's remains are put, and where our family's from. We have family ties there. So I don't know. I hope it moves people spiritually, help them to remember who they are and where they come from. That's what this pole is really about, our history, and it tells a story about my grandmother, and she spent her whole life holding our culture, and hopefully inspire them to do the same, or do a little bit of what she did, and perhaps inspire some younger people to become carvers and take up the culture and everything that goes along with it. So, I hope we achieve that here with this. I hope we achieve this pole is going to be that cultural icon for people to have a good life in our cultural ways. You usually have to come up with some type of plan of what figures are going to go on there, and how you have to determine the height and the width of everything. So you kind of draw up a sketch, kind of really rough sketch, like a scale sketch. Like, on my sketches, I was doing 1 inch equals a foot. So I would just do a really rough drawing that way. And then, you can decipher from the scale on where to make the cuts on your log. So that's usually the process. Really rough sketches, then it gets fine-tuned until you figure out. And then, of course, sometimes it doesn't always work out that way in your sketches. Once you get to the log, you sort of have to compromise or improvise on certain occasions. So but that's all part of the process. So yeah, on this pole, it's a 24-foot pole, and it has 3 figures: a whale, a man, and an eagle. And this is a memorial totem pole for my grandmother. She passed away about 4 or 5 in 2018. She passed away, and it's a memorial pole because she was our chief, a very very noble chief that she did many great things for our people and her family. So the killer whale on the bottom represents the ancestor, some of our origin stories. And when they were bringing her remains to the island where we laid her to rest, a pod of killer whales and dolphins followed her, escorted the boat all the way in. Wow. Like almost so close to the boat you can almost touch her. So the old lessons or the old teachings is that the killer whales come to help take the spirit when they cross over. So we put the killer whale on the bottom. And the man represents the ancestor, the first chief that our chief we come from. His name was Liwagila, and Liwagila was a noble chief, a high-ranking chief, who could only wear the 2-headed sea serpent belt that we put around his waist. His name was Liwagila. He was the first man and became the first chief, and that chieftainship passed all the way down since time began to my grandmother, and it still continues today. The eagle on top represents a seat. It's called the eagle seat that she held in her potlatch ceremonies. It was one of the most important seats in the house for someone to hold on to the seat, representing that they hold on to the culture and all the lessons and teachings. It's her job to hold and make sure that these things are passed on. this pole is this is I would say a highlight of my career for sure. To be asked to be put up a marker or a totem pole in your traditional lands is a huge achievement for me. I think it's an achievement where I've worked hard all my life, and everything that my grandmother's given in terms of culture and holding it is now my turn to give back by putting this up. It is to know that it's going to be in an ancient village that's been there since time began.
Wow.
And to be asked and to step up and answer the challenge. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I spent all my life, and this is, the last 32 years to get to this point where I'm able to do something like this is incredible. It's like something you strive for. You strive for when you're deeply involved in our culture, when you know that it's really hard to explain. It really is hard to explain, but yeah, it's sort of a way to celebrate and make people feel better, and they'll be able to see it all the time. So I love that it's going to help people. It is very important to me, and it is like that type of achievement for me to be able to do this. It's incredible. It's incredible. Ironically, I was watching the Stanley Cup there in June, and you see people who win the Stanley Cup, or whenever they win a gold medal at the Olympics, or some type of achievement like that where they worked all their life to get there. That's what that is like. That's like for me.
Yes.
That's what this is. That's what it is for me. It's alive.
It's alive. It's there.
Yeah.